Hello, Flosstube friends. I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the stitcher with the laughing face, and this is Flosstube Special Edition, the number 2, the Great Craft Room Transformation, and that's where I'm coming to you. As you may have known, if you've watched some of my other videos, I've been working on wanting to get my son's bedroom turned into my crafting space. And well, it's not pink and it doesn't have all of my shelving in it. Summer kind of evaporated, and as everybody well knows, you have all these great plans for the summer, and then it's like, boom, it's gone. It's done. So I have to be back to school this week. Yay. Didn't get everything done I wanted to, and that's okay. But I do have a great space that I can work in. So I'm going to show you what it looked like when I started last week, and then and I apologize because I think the camera angles are going to switch on me a couple times. But I'm going to show you quickly what it looks like when I started, when it was just an empty room with just a couple of pieces of furniture in it, and then you'll see how everything is organized so that I can get lots of great stuff done, lots of FFOs and quilts that people have been waiting for years. And but it's going to be a great space. So thanks so much for stopping by, and check out Craft Room Transformation Part 2. Here is my blank slate. This is what I started with, was putting all my fabric in the closet, and that got me working on stuff for the summer, which is great. Sam's dresser, which has seen better days, and it's probably going to move out of that spot. A couple of my red containers that are going to get reorganized. I did take down the really disgusting blue curtains that have not been washed in years. They were pretty nasty. Just chucked those things out. And these curtains, I used to have these hanging in our dining room at one point. So they already have added to kind of lighten the room up a little bit. And then we've got this base over here. That's one of the only things that Sam left. And since the room is small, it had one of those 9 cubes from Target on it. Phil built it. So I'm going to turn that into my cutting counter when when I'm able to do like my whole vision. So then this is where another table's going to go. Had a shelf up there, and then back around to the door. So that's what I'm starting with. And this is how it turned out. So here we have my table that is storing a whole bunch of stuff. Has some stuff underneath it. Those are all of my stitchy bags, project bags, all laid out underneath it. I don't have cute ones like, the cute ones that you see on the other floss tubes. I was thinking about making some, and maybe I will with some Halloween fabric now that I have my table set up so that I can sew whenever I want. There's my giant gaming chair that I swiped from Max's room because he's not using it. And there we go. All right, so let me explain a little bit more. I won't go so fast that I give you, seasickness. So under the table, I do have the red basket over here is my laundry basket from the dollar store that I keep all of my fabric in. I like to take things out of the packages, roll them in the tubes, because when you buy them in Joann's, Michael's, whatever, they come in the tube. You use the fabric, you guys still have the tube. So you can see like there's a couple Witchell things in there. And that there's like some blues and some other things that are in tubes. They didn't come that way, but I find that it helps to take the wrinkles out. So when you're ready to work on it, it's not wrinkled. It kind of rolls it out a little bit. So yeah, so I don't have really cute project bags. I do want to make some. I want to give it a try. Nicole Spore's tutorial looks awesome, but I just have cute bags. So like this one was a recent Joann's purchase. So obviously that has a whole bunch of Halloween stuff in it. And then the next one has Christmas. And then there's like Stitching with the Housewives. There's a fall one. So, and inside the bags, like you can see here in my Halloween one, I have put things inside Ziploc bags. So like that is the Spooky Smalls from Primrose. I put the fabric I wanted to use in there. There's a couple other little projects. There's one of my containers with all the floss in it. So like-minded things can all be together. So that's how I do it. There's a bee bag down there. It's all bees. And then there are a few smaller ones. This one's a cute fall one. So it says, "Hey there, pumpkin." So that's cute. So I gathered these up from the like 10 different places. They all were in my house. And so they're all in here. So, and then under the table, I do have some storage. Back there is a big bucket of finishing projects and then a couple other things underneath there. But on top of the table, in the back here, I have my ribbon. I've got, those are like spring holiday, Easter, Valentine's Day, whole bucket worth of fall. And then we've got just regular ribbon I can just grab whenever I need to go with whatever project is going on. Then we have, usually I use this kind of thing for a Flosstube, but Primrose showed this once. They had all of their buttons in a container. I thought that was great. And then under there, these are all charm packs that I didn't want to break up yet because they all coordinate so nicely together. There's a whole bucket of checked fabric underneath that because, you know, checks are like the thing right now. And then over here I have some Halloween scraps that, because they didn't really go in the closet where I have like big pieces of fabric. Those are a lot of scraps. And then I have a project in a basket underneath that. Coming around to the front here, I have, and then there's some things underneath. There's like a whole bucket of Christmas trims and ribbon underneath some of the things in the back there. So this is how I store my DMC. It's all in these containers. I have 3 of them. Those are everything that's bobbinated. And then the bag has, right now, just tossed on top a bunch of new stuff I just bought. But I do have bags by the hundreds in there. So if I don't have something bobbinated, but I need it, I can check there first before I run to the store. I have a little container. And I have like a thing about containers. I have all sorts of different kinds. But I have this container with like the leftovers of fancy floss. And the cool thing was when I found some of these are some gorgeous orange and purple ones from a previous Halloween project that I think I'm going to use on some of those spooky smalls. Instead of the called for, I'm going to use some of the stuff I have just sitting around. And then I have a whole bunch of foam core scraps because I will use those, you know, you cut a big piece, you got smaller ones left. This is my bin of stuff I want to show in Flosstube. So there's a finished project in there, some haul. Over here is a bin of finished stitchings that need to be FFO'd. So there's a Halloween one right there. I've got my Stitcher's Garden that's waiting for just the right red frame. This is a whole bin of finishing backing kind of things. A lot of dollar store purchases in there, like these cute little houses. Love that. A lot of hoops and stuff like that. And then this is my fabric that needs to go in its home. So it's kind of like it needs to be shelved, as librarians think. So things that were part of a project, the project is done and now they need to go back into their home. So that's how I have my table organized right now. Eventually, hopefully there will be shelves in here when we have the chance to get through the wall and finish everything up there. So I brought down some things. So here is an old stitching. This one I did in 1987. It's probably one of the biggest stitchings the first big one. And that's the Footprints in the Sand poem. I think it's starting to kind of pucker a little bit, so I might have to, I don't know if we had it done professionally. So 90s, isn't there? 80s, 90s with the pink and the green. But I gotta admit, I gotta confess, I actually knotted my floss back then because someone taught me once and I was like, oh, who cares about the knots? What did I know? I was 14. But it is a really great piece still. And I was happy to have a spot to hang it up. I also have over here, that is a piece my mom did. It's crewel and it was on a printed background, but she never really got into the cross stitch because she thought it was boring doing the same stitch over and over again. So she did crewel work, or I guess what you would call needlepoint now. And that was over their fireplace for many years. So when we had to, kind of dismantle their house, I took that one so I could have that with my stuff. And then over here, we have one of my favorite stitchings. This one I did when I was in my late teens. This is a Paula Vaughn, as you can probably tell if you know her. So I was 19 when I finished that one. Again, it's got that 90s coloring for the frame, but it's okay. It's not as bad, I think, as I thought it was, as dated. But I always loved this one because it was me when I was little. There's a dollhouse, there's the dolls, there's the dress-up trunk with the little tea party there. So this one, it's done on linen, but I'm sure it's all called for because that was before I knew that you could mess with stuff. But with that many colors, why would you? It was, very closely shaded to look like a painting almost from far away. So that is one of my older stitchings, and I was happy to be able to hang them up. They've kind of been in limbo for a couple of years. All right, so back to my organization over here in a corner. I've got paints and Rit dye, a couple of buckets like that has washers and magnets in it. This little bucket has some metallic and glow-in-the-dark floss because you gotta have glow-in-the-dark floss for Halloween stuff. I got the cute little wheelbarrow at Target, and I was like, oh, that'd be great for glue sticks. Some of my thread storage for sewing. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. Beautiful things come together one stitch at a time. And the little fairy house has been living in the library because we had an enchanted forest book fair a couple of years ago, and I decided it was time to come home. So there's the little tree of knowledge there too, reading his book. Kind of like an ent. Up here, I've been seeing what other people have been doing with picks, like as you're storing picks and being ready to use them. We eat, clearly, a lot of Reese's Pieces. Or no, it's the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the mini ones. And we get them at Sam's Club, so they come in these big containers. And I was like, oh, those would be perfect. So that's what and I'll cover them with, coordinating scrapbooking fabric or paper at some point or something. But for now, it's kind of a good place. I can stick them up there. I can see what I have. Because I think that's the thing, is that when you can see what you have, you're going to use it instead of running to the store and buying more stuff. Here is the strip of paint. These are the paint chips. And I'm probably going to go with the Pleasing Pink. I think the Powder Rose will be too much for this room because it's not very big. But the Pleasing Pink is the color, and it's not coming out quite as pinky as it looks more salmon colored through the video. But it's a beautiful shade of pink. It's from Glidden. So I taped it to the wall because I'm like, it'll help me imagine it being pink. So then over here, on the window, which is going to be super bright, but I did, oh, there we go. That's better. This was a valance from Walmart. It was $14. It came with, or $15, I think. But it came with a valance and 2 panel pieces, like if you had a small kitchen window. And I loved the pom-pom trim on it. The little panels also have that. And I was like, oh, I could use those to maybe make like a little curtain to cover something. So if I wanted to like cover part of one of my shelving units. But I think it just not having the room darkening curtains. I mean, obviously when it was a bedroom, you wanted those so Sam would be able to sleep. But I love not having them because it does give the room a lot more natural light, and I love it. It's awesome. So my work table, I've got my trusty Singer. I'll tell you a story about sewing machines at some point. And then over here, and this is probably like how it'll be set up when it's my permanent vision too. So my cutting mat, I got my glue gun out. And then over here I have some projects ready to be worked on. This is the quilt that's going to be for my brother and my sister-in-law. There's the pile of fabric there. It's going to be their Christmas log cabin. And then over here we have a pile of purple and black and gray stuff. That'll, watch my my next regular video, and I'm going to show that off. That's Max's. And then I have the rest of the fabric that I'm going to use for Matthew and Brittany's Baking Spirits Bright quilt that I'm going to do for them. And then the dresser isn't out of here yet, but that's okay. I just left it where it was because if we move it, it will tip over. Like the back fell off. And clearly one of the drawers is broken. So for now, it's fine. I stuffed a few things in there. It's no big deal. And I did put a couple little things out on top. This week's project FFO. Yes, I definitely need to do that. And then on the floor, so I have Max's old gaming chair, which is actually pretty comfortable. And it's adjustable, so that's a good thing for short people. And then the carpet, I picked that up at Walmart for $40. And it's the perfect size. It fits between the legs of this table so that the table's able to lay flat still. And it's really, at first I was thinking something not so fluffy, because I didn't want to get anything caught in the rollers of the chair, but this is perfect. It was in the back to school college section or whatever. And it's very comfy on my feet. helps. It's, as you can hear, it's not as echoey in here, obviously, with all the fabric and stuff, but I think that helps not having that big hardwood floor space there. Keeps the noise down, and I'm very happy with that purchase. So pretend the walls are pink and you'll get an idea. But I think this is going to be great for the next couple of months until we're able to get it to my final vision. Even if it's not until next summer, I'm okay because I have a space where I can put stuff out, and it's right next to the kitchen. So I'm even thinking, like I could be working on dinner and have, time to cut fabric or run in here and, hot glue something and get a FFO worked on. So I think it's very convenient, and I'm going to get a lot of stuff done with it. So there we have it with the Great Craft Room Transformation Part 2. It will be to be continued for some point way down the road, but for now, I'm going to be very happy making lots of things for people in this space. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you at my regular Flosstube. Have a good day.